In recent times, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has consistently and deliberately exhibited pragmatic, proactive and dynamic leadership to drive the transformational agenda for a greater Lagos. Let's share with you a catalogue of some of his significant engagements in recent times from the Governor's Office on the City of Lagos TV show. You're welcome. The Lagos State Governor, Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu, has attributed the recent Dosunmu market fire disaster to absolute gross carelessness. Apart from conducting a full investigation into the fire disaster, the governor promised to conduct integrity tests for most of the buildings within the vicinity.
We just finished on-the-spot assessment of a very unfortunate and very preventable fire disaster here at Dosunmu Market. As you can see, our people has been extremely very reckless, very unfortunately, and access were denied to first responders for a couple of hours, and even 48 hours after, the site is still a live site. We still have isolated burning, as you all can see, and it's still an act disaster site. As the last count, we have about 14 houses in one form or the other that has been affected. A bit more might still go down after the extensive, fit for purpose tests that will be conducted over the next couple of days here. What I have seen here is what could have been prevented. We don't have the full report yet, so I don't want to speculate. But initial report that came to us was just gross carelessness and people not understanding what it means when we say keep your environment safe. We will conduct a proper, extensive audit as to what led to this. But as you can see from the initial assessment, we have had an activation of an advocacy that indeed from the month of December all throughout in the month of May, these are high combustible weather that we've known will come year on year. And if you check your print media, if you check social media, we've been advertising, I'll be saying to people that during harsh Harmattan, the weather is not only hard, you need to stay away from inflammable materials, you need to stay away from consumptive, combustive materials that can activate, easy spread of fire. And that's the kind of thing that we've seen here also today. And we've also noticed that a lot of the residential apartments that government will think were residential apartments were actually warehouses. Warehouses that are houses that have been converted into warehouses in people's sitting room and in people's rooms. That from outside you think they are dwelling places, but they've been warehouses and materials that were easily inflammable.
The Lagos State Governor, Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu, received in audience the Director General of the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, Mrs. Umar, and a team on a courtesy visit to commiserate with the governor over the recent Dosunmu market fire disaster. Mrs. Umar, who expressed the agency's determination to ensure disaster risk deduction across the country, especially in Lagos, pledged to support the Lagos State government through LASEMA with ideas, strategies, sensitization, advocacy, and logistics.
We're here to commiserate with you over the Dosunmu fire incident that has just occurred. We're here to pledge our full support as the National Emergency Management Agency to assist Lagos State in any way we can. From the time the news broke out, we received message quite early, and our men have been on site to assist LASEMA to be able to work out some few modalities. Having said that, with the experience that NEMA has, we are fully committed to assisting Lagos State in any way LASEMA might deem fit for us to find a way forward in this situation. Coincidentally, about 2 weeks ago, our men were here to sensitize a couple of market associations, yes, about 20 of them, on disaster risk reduction, yes. And we had a successful meeting. I had received reports on that. Unfortunately, this incident occurred a few days ago. With that in mind, we're ready to share our experiences, like I said, on our way to move forward. Our major purpose and plan today, after paying you the courtesy call, is to go to the site. And what we want to do is a rapid assessment of the situation to see how we can come in, not just in terms of relief intervention, but most importantly, in terms of disaster risk reduction.
On his part, Mr. Governor commended the proactive and quick response of the agency to the fire incident. He equally highlighted various quick response approach and capacity of LASEMA in handling similar incidents in the past. He, however, noted that the state government will welcome any form of assistance from NEMA, not only to prevent such incidents in future, but to also tackle such developments.
So on behalf of Lagos State Government, we want to commend and congratulate you and your team. Second is to really commend you for your quick response and for being alive to the responsibility, of the agency. It's a national issue. It's not a local state issue alone, right? And you risen up, you and your team, to come down here and do on-the-spot assessment. Lagos, I would dare say, is not just an ordinary state. It's a state that is critical, important to the country. It sits on a significant portion of our economic, commercial activity, is the largest in the country, and is within a very tight, small area. That presents its own challenge. When these things happen, it's them first that it affects before we can even come, and rescue and help and compensate or something. But the bottom line is the damage has been done. So as much as possible, we have that narrative that we need to push across there, that preventive, is better, and let us all live in a responsive and a responsible manner so that we don't have. We also know that the weather sometimes, ignites and sort of just help to, push, especially fire, issues like this. But that's nature. So we just have to be ready for it and be prepared for it and be able to respond. If you get there, they will tell you some of the numbers. For the past 3 days or so, we've had over 120, tankers of water that has gone in there. Our guys, we've used over 20 different fire engines. We brought ladders that could go up to 16, 18 floors, there just to give, relief. But part of the challenge that we know that we have is really vehicular access, into some of those things and just the behaviors of our people. We also said to them that government will come and help, but we will not help with our eyes closed. We will help knowing fully well that we owe it a duty, but we do it, with all with all sense of responsibility, So I'm sure they will have also explained, in the course of that we're doing enumeration, and maybe NAMA also can share some of their skills in this so that we can indeed do proper enumeration. We can know who and who has been there, and so that will determine, what level and what kind of support and relief we might also give them. Thankfully, there was no fatality as extensive as it was, because we were able to evacuate a lot of people and rescue quite a number of, quite a number of goods before they became damaged. But all in all, is to at all times commend our first responders, because they were able to respond within the first 20, 30 minutes. We had, men on ground, and we were able to, trigger our various levels of rapid response, emergency response, activation. And I usually let them do their job. So I don't need to come in the first 6 hours of an incident, when, sites are still very live and things are still happening, And so we took our time, we're monitoring, and at the right time, I went there yesterday to see things for myself, and I'm sure you still see. There's still a live site. They're still doing a lot of not search, not rescue, but just now evacuating and ensuring that they're really damping down, or what you call, and they can curtail completely, and the buildings that also now will do integrity that needs to come down and keep the safety. So all of those things, that kind of things that will require, as help. Equipments are always required. Some of these things, when you get it, you see maybe more, trucks, more tippers, that will be need to. So it's more of around cleanup, excavations, and that will be needed, almost immediately.
And still from the governor's office, after the heroic welcome in Badagry for Pelumi Oluwatosin Ajibade for an exemplary solo drive from London to Lagos, she was received by Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu at Marina House in Lagos. Pelumi, who shared her experience, noted that the driving force was the determination to achieve a goal.
I'm a world traveler. I've visited over 80 plus countries, and my goal really is to show women that traveling can be easy, safe, and doable, because so many times we're told we cannot do things, we cannot step out of our comfort zone. So just the video you have seen, this was just not a drive. It was to drive, I'll do it in 2 weeks rather than 2 months. But I was very intentional about making sure I stop in these locations and showcase the African continent. Because sometimes what you see in the main media is just poverty or, really, really terrible news. But to show that, yes, this is a tangible place, and getting messages, from over, we're getting almost 3 million reach on my social media platform. People saying, oh, wow, I have seen a new Africa. I've seen somewhere that I'll go to for my next vacation. And that is my goal moving forward after this trip, that I will continue to work with the government officials to continue to showcase, especially where I'm from, Lagos, Nigeria, because, as they say, this is where, you kind of start from, where you're based. So it's very, very important that, we continue to do these things and we continue to move forward in the right direction.
For Mr. Governor, in his response, he described Pelumi's feat as a global and an iconic achievement, not only for Nigeria, but for Lagos.
Not only have you signpost Lagos where it should be. Indeed, you've put your family name, at the right center of it. And so on behalf of all of them, the 25 million plus Lagosians and the entire country, we want to say how truly proud we are to be associated with you. Because indeed, you're the one that we are also now striving to associate with. And truly, really, you cannot imagine how transformative this is going to be for you. It's certainly going to change a whole lot of courses for you, but I can see that you're ready for it. I can see that you've been self-propelled, you've been self-motivated, you've been self-in-tuned into this. And I want to tell to you that welcome to your new world. Looking at your experience and your journey in the last almost 90 days now, because I'm sure there's been a lot of preparation to it, is indeed very inspirational. And you've actually just shifted mountains, not just moved, you've actually shifted, locations. I want to say that this is indeed a true African spirit that you've demonstrated. This is indeed a true Nigerian capability that you have demonstrated. But more importantly, this is a story of Lagos not a carry last.
The Lagos State Governor, Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu, alongside key government functionaries and some members of the Executive Council, recently conducted a tour visit to Badagry to inspect ongoing efforts and projects to improve and upgrade the tourism potentials of Lagos State. Considering the strategic position of Badagry, the governor was not only impressed with the progress made so far, but pledged his government's commitment to transform the cultural, historic heritage and sites in Badagry into world-class tourist destination.
The tour hasn't been there. We're still going across the water to a place that is called point of no return. but you see that we've gone around some of the cultural, historic heritage in Badagry, especially around the slave routes, selected markets like the slave market, the Agia tree, the first Christian burial site, the oldest building, and a whole lot of others. Right? It's really part of our tourism ecosystem. That vertical, I wanted to come and see things for myself. What are the things we have done? What are additional things that we've spoken about that we need to do? How do we intentionally make Badagry and all of the tourism potential that it has a real destination? We also went to the old Governor's Lodge, where you saw that there is a purpose-built 70-room hotel complex there. And so for us is to complete the ongoing projects that we've seen, to also restore some of the heritage sites that we've seen, and not to completely deface it, but just to restore them, and to generally just preserve what we have, and to be able to speak a very compelling story about what Badagry truly really is and what it holds for the tourism potential of our country. And we've also seen that Badagry is actually having a major facelift. There are lots of new roads that you've seen, dual carriage roads that are nearing completion. We've all seen it that we came around the last time to open the hospital. We've seen the roads that they've all been done extensively. And indeed, Badagry, I'm very impressed because it's actually wearing, a more cleaner road. We all came by road from Lagos, from all the way from Lagos Island, where we all worked together. And you could see that it took us just about an hour, 15 minutes from Lagos all the way driving here back to Badagry. So these are journeys that Oyedepo will take 3 hours, 3.5 hours. We've experienced it ourselves, and in 1 hour, 15 minutes, we're in Badagry. And you can see the citizens are actually very excited, right? And so really is to make sure that no part of Lagos is left underdeveloped or undeveloped. Right? And tourism being in a major cardinal of our team's agenda, I needed to come and see things for myself too, and also help. You saw around the Agia Center that we have like an amphitheater there. There are a few projects that we also need to complete around the marina here. But I'm satisfied, knowing fully well that we still have a lot of opportunity to do for the job. And you can see that on the top, the Diaspora Commission is also with us. We have a diaspora agency already now. So it's really to just make, Lagos and Badagry in particular, a tourist destination.
And finally, from the governor's office, in fulfillment of its oversight functions, the chairman of the Joint Committee of Works of the National Assembly, Senator Berinade, alongside some distinguished senators and House of Representatives from both the Red and Green Chamber, paid a courtesy visit to Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu. Senator Berinade explained in clear terms their mission to Lagos.
We are here on a courtesy call with contractors from our 4 companies that are handling major projects in Lagos. First of the project is the 700-kilometer Lagos-Calabar Coastal Road. We are also here with contractors handling the repairs of the Lagos Third Mainland Bridge. We are also here to see the projects going on with the Qatar Road and others. But sincerely speaking, Your Excellency, we must commend our President. The Renew Hope agenda of Mr. President is actually real. On our own, from the National Assembly, myself and my colleagues from the Senate, and also the House of Representatives, because of what the Honorable Minister of Works, his foresight, we must commend the President for that appointment. With what we have seen, our own is budgetary and also appropriation. The 3 main aim or functions of the legislators, which has to be with oversight, lawmaking, and also the one that has to do with representation.
Governor Sanwo-Olu commended the effort of the committee for visiting Lagos to have a direct assessment of the projects, admonished President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for appointing a reliable Minister of Works in the person of Senator Umahi.
So on behalf of the people and government of Lagos State, we want to first thank you for taking out time from your very, very busy schedule to deem Lagos State fit as a state in which you want to come and do oversight function under the Works Ministry. It's only when there are things to oversight that oversight functions becomes important. And so for us, it has shown that there's something positively that is happening in Lagos or that's about to happen in Lagos. And that's why, you have responsibly taken this role to come forward and have a view and see things for yourself and know where the resources of the state, the nation, is being channeled to. And we want to thank you and commend you for this thought, and for wanting to see things firsthand for yourself. Distinguished Senator, I'd said it aptly. It's all driven by the vision of both Mr. President and also putting a square hole in a square peg, the Right Honorable Minister of Works, who incidentally, albeit very short, was a member of the 10th Assembly. So it is from your stock that the President has indeed borrowed from to identify. But I'll quickly add that it's also from our own stock, having been a former governor. So you can see that both of us work, it's our own reverse stock that were donated to the National Assembly. And Mr. President, in his wisdom, also saw from your own stock to make him a minister. And you can see that the decisions, of him being at the helms of affairs, the ministry, has turned a positive curve. We've seen him hitting the ground running. We've seen him rolling off his sleeves. And we've seen him traversing different parts of the country. And so we want to congratulate and thank Mr. President for that choice. We also want to thank him for his great vision at ensuring that different parts of this country, have meaningful, impactful, purposeful governance, and he's showing it in all of his various interventions.
For Mr. Governor, governance is serious business. And so keep a date with us as we keep you posted on fresh developments from the Governor's Office on the City of Lagos TV show on TV Nigeria. The show continues in a moment.